You know what this is? It's like this weird psychosis everybody's under where it's like, technically, this guy was like in the military or whatever, like to people. And technically, this guy is a comedian, but they're both stealing valor. Like, neither is true. You know what I mean? He stole valor and he doesn't do comedy. Neither is true, but they both are that thing. And it says it on their taxes, you know? I don't really know who this guy is, but I'm sorry, I just don't keep up with that. There's always a guy on Rogan, and it's like the fight for the forgotten thing, and they talk about crossbows for 2 hours, and like, I mean, could you imagine the guy in his lifted truck leaning forward to turn it up a little bit louder as they start talking about crossbows and being like, "Fuck yeah." Parting the dip in his mouth to get it to the roof and to the bottom. Be like, hell yeah, this is the shit.
My time. My time.
Bryan Callen and Tim Kennedy talk stolen valor. The thing is, I don't want to get a thing clipped about me and Callen. I think he hates me. I'm pretty sure. I mean, not that I care, but like, I don't know. If like, you know, if like the guys
All right, first episode.
If the guys text me to come to the mothership when I'm in Austin and I go and hang out and he's there, I'll be like, and he walks up and he'll be like, "Hey," and I'll be like, "I know. I'm sorry." It'll be like, "That was really hurtful and fucked up." You know, I feel like, I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But if he's like, the thing is though, I'll have to be like, I stand by everything I said. I believed it. Everything I said about you, I believed, unfortunately. So just letting you know, I'm sorry, but I'm friends with everybody here, so sorry. I thought it was fun. I only do stuff if it's funny, and I thought it was funny to watch your thing. I saw someone submitted it on my website, and I was in the mood to watch it. And at the time, people weren't really watching stuff on my website, and then eventually, people started clipping stuff. So, you know, I thought it would kind of exist behind a paywall. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been that mean, and I do feel bad about it. But also, didn't you like rape 4 women? So, like, you know, what is this self-righteous? That would be kind of my conversation with him. I think that would be the ultimate. Like, if he ever starts talking to me about like morality and like all this stuff, I'm like, what about the women? Like, what about the also there's a clip of Callen where Brendan Schaub goes, you know, like Louis and Patrice and like Chris Rock, and Bryan goes, "I'm in that mix." And Brendan's like, "Yeah, for sure." Even Brendan's like, "What?" I think he goes, you know, like he goes Patrice and Chappelle and Louis. He said like 3 of the highest like ticket, like, and also like highly regarded critically, you know, comics of the postmodern era. And Bryan goes, "I'm in that mix." It makes me howl. Every time I see that clip, I start crying laughing. But what is this? Tim Kennedy addresses every single claim
of the Overdogs podcast.
I think it's important to address the elephant in the room.
I have never had any intimacy with any animals. We stormed that complex. There were lots of kids in there. I remember a bunch of kids getting hurt. First vehicle gets...
So Bryan's dad's a spook, right? He's CIA. Why is Bryan on this episode? Interested in the first episode of Tim Kennedy's Overdogs podcast. Tim sits down with longtime friend. Yeah, I mean, you're a stand-up comedian. Of course you're friends with Tim Kennedy. This is crazy.
Absolutely destroyed with, I think, everybody in that vehicle dying. I'm the next vehicle.
If I keep going, this is going to get clipped. Fuck.
Like, bell rung, absolutely messed up.
Fuck.
I want Americans to see what's really going on.
Oh, his dad was an international banker. Yeah, same thing.
And and how dire it is in some places.
I've got just some of the questions.
Oh, you have a list?
He also, I think he quoted saying women yearn to be raped. That's someone in the chat here. That's very interesting. By the way, everything I'm saying here is being written for me. I'm reading off of a teleprompter. I'm playing a character.
Yeah.
Also, like, said some stupid stuff that were, without a doubt, fish stories.
Why? I was really mad at the people criticizing you. I was really mad at the videos they were making, but I think you deserved it.
How you doing, brother?
Good.
So,
Overdog.
yeah,
I like that, overdogs.
underdogs in most of my fights, but
What is with these people being obsessed with having wood behind them? They can't get enough wood. Everybody's set is wood. Wood and weapons, and has nothing to do with any sort of like intellectual feat. You know what I mean? Like if you were in like the guy, like if you were in the personal office of like Albert Einstein's, there would be like awards and medals. There'd be a big trophy that says genius who helped people do stuff, you know, and discovered what how time moves forward. Like there'd be all that. There'd be like a pipe. There'd be like your books and stuff. These guys are just like, give me wood. Give me wood because that's masculine and straight, and I'm a straight guy. I have sex with women. And then put axes, put a dead animal on the wall and a bunch of it makes no sense. It makes zero sense. It's ugly. The lighting is bad. The having them across on this angle is bad. It's ugly. It's an ugly, cheap laminate. I built my desk custom. I built this custom. You're Tim Kennedy. You got a cheap laminate desk from IKEA? Shame on you. Cheap $20 stands too on the SM7Bs here. By the way, maybe use a little flair. Do something different than the SM7B. I know Rogan's got the SM7B. It's his thing. Maybe do your own thing. Why are you guys all like satellites of Joe Rogan's asshole? Don't you want to be somebody? You want to be somebody? Come on. Don't you want to be Tim Kennedy? Is there anybody out there that just wants to be themselves, you know?
I like that, overdogs.
Come on.
underdogs in most of my fights, but for this, we're just going to be the overdogs.
Were you the underdog in most of your fights?
Most of them, yeah.
I never saw that. I never really considered you an underdog.
I mean, we like Michael Bisping, Robbie Lawler, Hodger Gracie, Jacare Souza, Luke Rockhold.
I mean,
I can't.
Yoel Romero.
I can't. Dislikes are disabled by owner. Damn. Okay, so why did someone submit this? Who submitted this? They talk about stolen valor. Okay, what? You got to give me the timestamp for this. When did they talk about stolen valor? Bryan Callen addressed the controversy. Oh, about the rape thing?
Yeah, man. It's and I wanted to do this because I think I'm the first guy in this thing. Good, and you know, you and I have been friends for 12 years now, and so I know a different Tim, and so I think it's important to address the elephant in the room. You think?
Yeah.
Right. By the way, there are already comments right now.
Yeah.
You can just read the comments. Yeah, you know, right.
Stolen
already.
valor.
Yeah, all that stuff.
You've never been deployed?
Yeah, and so one of the things I want to be very careful too with addressing it because I don't want to get bodied by. I'm not a journalist.
Bryan, you know you're getting bodied. You've been on the internet getting bodied for a decade.
I didn't do any.
It's not stopping. The snowball is too big. It's an avalanche now. What do you think is? It's your career is getting bodied. You're actually lucky to get bodied, by the way. If you weren't getting bodied, you would be really sad. You'd be on like cruise ships and stuff. You'd be looking out over the Pacific thinking about jumping. So I'm sorry. I'm being too mean. This is the thing. This is why I can't watch podcast comedy stuff. I get too mean. Okay, I'm going to calm down. I'm not even Ben Avery, by the way. I'm sick, and I'm not Ben Avery, and I'm playing a character. And this is a scripted thing.
Most I've come close to
It's
is
scripted,
going
it's
to do stand up
scripted.
in Afghanistan in 2007. That's as close to a war zone in Afghanistan.
He did stand up in 2007. That's the closest he got to a war zone.
And
Wait, what?
7. The most I've come close to is going to do stand up in Afghanistan in 2007.
Why did he say Afghanistan? Why does he say it like an extra with one line in John Wick? Yes, John Wick is in Afghanistan. What is that? Who speaks like that?
That's as close to a war zone.
He's the guy that's like, I'll have the fajitas at the Mexican restaurant, and the waiter like rolls his eyes. Like, all right, cracker. You want a margarita too? Asshole.
In Afghanistan. And
by the way, these guys are so vain and insecure. Like, I'm a machismo, I'm a man, being a man, a postmodern man at least, there should be like, there is this like level of stoicism to it where like, I don't let anything bother me. I'm hard as fuck. I love adversity. And then they all those guys that say that stuff, they get plastic surgery. They get plastic surgery. They get like eyelid surgery. They get facelifts. They get nose jobs. They get like their beard dyed. They get hair plugs. You know, because they're men. They're men. Why don't you just rock a Norwood 5? Like men did back in the day, like Jack Nicholson. He just let it. He didn't give a fuck. He just kept doing coke and smoking cigs and being amazing, playing golf at Pebble Beach, getting his dick sucked by stalkers. He was just a man. That was his look. He just went bald. He didn't give a shit. You guys are in the gym for 5 hours a day, taking like supplements that are sponsored by like a militia in Idaho. It's so like, it's honestly like, it's fucking embarrassing. It's embarrassing, but I don't even know who this Tim Kennedy guy is, by the way. Why am I watching this video? I got to stop doing this or I'm going to get clipped. I got to stop. I got to stop watching. I got to stop or I'm going to get clipped.
But, you know, there's one of the things I want to sort of like, you know, I think that when all the stuff went down about you, about the book, about the V for, you know, Valor, when that happens to a friend of yours,
this guy stole Valor. I think I vaguely remember this now. Thank you. I think I understand the context now.
You go,
yes.
Well, where do I put all this stuff? I don't know.
It was like bullshit,
enough. I
wasn't
read the
it?
book, loved it.
Hold on.
I don't know what's true and what's not because I don't know anything about combat. I know certain tier 1 guys were like, hey, this doesn't make sense. I saw some of that. So I want to be very careful and respectful of anybody, not just people who fought, but people who spent.
Imagine the place your career is in, that you're calling Bryan Callen to help you out of a jam. This poor guy. I mean, how guilty is he that he's like, I know who will help my public image? Bryan Callen. Hey, Bryan, can you do me a favor, man? I'm gonna owe you. Look, people love you, man. Why don't you just come on my show and help me out? Yeah, I'm gonna start a podcast, and I'm gonna have big guest, first guest right out of the gate. Gonna get everybody on my side. I'm gonna have Bryan Callen on my show. Like, I wish I wasn't sick as a dog right now. Oh my God, this is amazing. This is so funny. They're both scumbags. They're both scumbags. Trying to exonerate themselves. This is so funny. This is like when two people in prison are giving themselves legal advice, but they're in the same cell. Oh my God. This is I've said this before, but like Bryan and Brendan and that crew, it's just infinite jest, man. They never will stop captivating my attention. They're so funny.
A lot of time in theater away from their loved ones, paid a price for that. One of the things I saw when I was only in there for 10 days, but the amount of time people had spent away from their family. So it's a very sensitive topic.
So it says here, he publicly admitted to lying about his military record, particularly by implying he received the Bronze Star Medal with a V device, Valor. This sparked intense backlash and investigations into service history and high-profile image. Following scrutiny, he released a social media statement taking full responsibility. Wow. Okay. All right. Here we go.
and somebody might have inflated what they did or whatever it might be, or there's accusations, this gets real dicey. So I think it's really important to treat it with kid gloves, and more importantly for me to be very respectful. But one of the reasons I wanted to do this with you, and one of the reasons that you are my friend, and I'm proud to call you my friend, regardless of what people say. And I never wavered from that.
They're amazing. That whole friend group, they're all like and like rapists, and they steal Valor. They're the worst people you could think of. They're the worst American citizens you could possibly imagine. It's so funny. It's so funny. Like every single, I can't think of one good thing about any of these people. I can't think of one good thing to say. People always give these guys credit. They go, dude, it's the discipline though. Like they get up, and I'm like, they repeat themselves every night. What is the preachers have to come up with new sermons every Sunday. If I showed up to church back in the day when my dad and mom made me go to church and the preacher was saying this, I'd be like, I already heard this one. I talked to my preacher back then. I was like, how do you, he told me, he goes, I write a new hour every Sunday. He goes, I get really excited for it. And he goes, I've done it so long now. He was like 45 years old at the time. He goes, I have it memorized completely, and I go up and I do a new one. He goes, I improvise a little bit and stuff, but these guys repeat the same like 45 minutes of material every night for like a decade. And they talk about it like they work in the mines. And they go, that's discipline every night. What else were you going to do? What else were you going to do? Did you have all the fun you could have had that day with the Rohypnol? Aren't you done now? Aren't you? How many times can you do that? I'm being too mean. I'm being too mean. I gotta stop. I said I would stop. Who sent me this? I don't even want to do this, but people are paying me money to do it. At BenAvery.live. Thank you guys for getting the sport drink, by the way. A lot of people are buying it. Governing boredom. I got to stop talking about this or people are going to clip it. I got to stop.
Either did the people closest to you who really know you. And one of the reasons for that is a couple of things. One is I just know I've seen who you were when you were at the top of your game and the top of the world, where everybody loved Tim, where Tim was making all the money, where Tim was the center of attention, where Tim was the American hero. I saw how you treated people who needed help. I know things that you don't even know that I know, but I saw stuff that you did, like getting up at 3 a.m. and driving to somebody's house who was a veteran who was suicidal.
These guys love to talk. They don't have real jobs, but they love to talk about the time they wake up in the morning. They can't wait to tell you what awful sort of time they wake up in the morning. 3 a.m. I was up, and who cares? It's a coworker topic, by the way. That's what a coworker says to you. They go, I got up at 6 today. You go, great stuff, man. Couldn't give a fuck. They bring that up. They go, I didn't get any sleep last night. Now my body has an insane amount of inflammation and my thyroid's not working properly. And I'm very irritable because I'm a fucking man. Yeah, I got 4 hours of sleep last night. 1 inch closer to death. What do you think about that? Pretty badass, right? Yeah, I got like 2-3 hours of sleep last night. It's the equivalent of smoking like 9 packs of cigarettes. I'm a fucking man. Fuck you.
Saw that
I'm Bryan
stuff.
Callen.
You don't know that I saw some of the stuff. I know a lot more than you think I know.
Okay.
But I saw it with my own eyes.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I know. I watch you when you sleep, bro. But I do, and I also I saw how you treated me. I saw how you treated a lot of people, but especially veterans. I saw with my
veterans are. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna. We have to stop acting like veterans deserve more. Like, okay, when I don't know why I'm supposed to. When I see a guy, like an old guy, and I don't hate them, but when I see an old guy wearing a hat that says like Vietnam War, I go, what? Like literally, why should I have respect for that? Why? And I would love to hear someone tell me why I should have respect for that person. Especially if they joined the war late. Especially when they were like killing people at Kent State and they were drafting people with Down syndrome into the army. that like that literally needed like Velcro shoes and like coloring books. Like I like after like it all like the Gulf of Tonkin, all that shit. If you tell me you served from like 73 to 75, fuck you. You know what I mean? If you served in the 70s, fuck you. No, I mean what I mean is like what I mean is like, you know, you're just wearing it isn't part of it, it's like you're just wearing a big hat that says I'm a war criminal. Like if you fought in Afghanistan and you have like an Afghan, this is bad to say, but like should you like are you wearing like if you're in the if you fought like if you protected like pedophiles and like you know you just guarded like opium fields and stuff. I mean, why like with government money? I talked to someone who was in Generation Kill. I knew someone who was in it. And he was drunk, and I was talking to him late one night, and he was like, I had a couple buddies, and one of them got really mad because they had a buddy that got hurt or killed by some family, some guy. And the guy was so mad that his buddy died, he went into the dude's home and he killed his kid. So the guy who killed his friend with it was like a suicide bomb or something, or the guy died too. The guy was so mad, he knew the family, so he went to like his hut in the town or whatever, and he walked in, he killed the child. And he came back and he told this guy that. And he was just like, he looked off and he did the classic like war is hell thing, and I was like, what? I was like, so people would just admit to doing war crimes and stuff? He's like, yeah, that's war. He was basically like, war is war crimes. So anytime I see, there are a couple of veterans, like there was a guy, they were mowing down a bunch of people in Vietnam. There's a famous story that they were mowing down like hundreds of people with these machine guns. They were all civilians in this village. And there was one guy, there was one soldier who ran out and was like, don't shoot, stop. And he was like running in front of the fire. And he saved like 80 people's lives or something. But it's like, it's listed as like a genocide. It was a horrific killing that they were ordered to do. But this one guy stood up and he stopped his men from following the order. And he saved a lot of people. And he's still in contact with some of them that day. But I think he died recently. And he said he's still, like he thought about those people every day that like lost their lives. So what I'm saying when it's like, and you woke up at 3 a.m. to help veterans who wanted to kill themselves because maybe they did really, really horrific things to people and now they live in hell because of it. So like what I'm saying is maybe they're like my only punish. Some people kill themselves because they're like, that's the punishment I probably deserve, actually. I created a life for myself where I live in hell, and so now I'm going to kill myself. And people go, no, don't do that. And it's like, no, he's kind of, in a way, sometimes people kill themselves, and it's like, no, you did the right thing. Please don't clip this. I love the troops. I don't know what I'm saying. God damn it. God damn it. God damn it. I mean, especially when you read, like, when you read, like, a fucking, God, I know the guy. He follows me. I read his book. Jake gave it to me. Damn it, I can't think of his name right now. I wish I wasn't sick. I got I got this COVID fog right now. God, it's about that cartel, like it's that base in is it in Fort Hood? Whatever. These people, if you just look into them at all, they all like abuse drugs. They like rape and like behead each other, and they kill people and they rape. And a lot of the military, they're like not good people. They got Satan in their heart and they want to kill somebody and they want to get paid to do it. Anyway, I kind of feel like Russ Cole in True Detective sometimes, where I'm like, if someone just gives me a 6-pack of Coke, I'll sit here for 5 hours and I'll start saying that Avery should kill him. Just sitting here spitting a Coke bottle of a little fat kid that I made. but I'm very sick, and I still want to do a show because you guys pay me a lot of money on the website, and I love you and appreciate you, and I love doing this. I also just love doing this show. And even when I didn't, when no one was watching on the website, I still was doing, 6-7 hour shows. I love this show. But yeah, like Sean Ryan's a veteran. He should fucking fuck Sean Ryan. He ran a drug trafficking ring in like South America. How many lives died because of him? He's clearly a spook. He's an ex-Navy SEAL. Fuck him. Oh, he's a veteran. Oh, wow, he's in Satan's army. That's awesome. That's so awesome. Wow, he was tortured by the devil himself into becoming a killing machine. Well, wow. Yeah, we should really, but also it's funny to say all this. Also, at the same time, I believe the government should take care of these people, and they don't. And it makes me so sad that they use people, abuse them. And as soon as they're done with the bodies, I saw this in high school all the time. Football coaches would use these kids and make them work for them, train them like dogs. And as soon as they got injured, the coach wouldn't visit them in the hospital. I mean, like spine injuries, crazy broken bones. I mean, like career-ending stuff. ACLs getting torn. And I remember a couple times, like my mom talking to one of the parents, they're like, I can't believe not one of the coaches visited him in the hospital and didn't even follow up to see if he was okay. And this was like a small town where like football was everything. And the kid's heart was broken, and he put so much love in it, but they would just find another body and move him forward. Because you don't matter. You're a statistic. You're a number. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I feel bad for, I feel like they're taking advantage of, and I mean, Trump literally said, if you join the military, you're a sucker. He said that. He's like, if you join the military, you're a sucker. He said that. So if you're mad at me, be mad at that guy too, I guess. Whatever, man. Hope we go to war with Iran. Hope we become one with Israel and we really give it to Iran finally. A lot of people say, Ben, we shouldn't go to war with Iran. We shouldn't become one with Israel. And I say, no. Iran fafoed. Okay? The regime, they simply fucked around and found out. And it's FAFO time now. They fucked around, and now it's time for them to find out. All my geopolitical beliefs, well, they revolve around memes and sayings that rhyme that I see Cat Turd tweet. Excuse me. Okay, buddy? Anyway, what was happening in this?
I was part of it. I saw you trying to get me involved in it. Times I couldn't do it, but I saw the effort that you've made over the past, I think I've known you over 12 years. And the amount of energy that you put into trying to help people who couldn't help themselves. That was what I've never forgotten. And that's when I think of you, that's who I think of.
I think of a guy who stole Valor. But I don't know him personally. I just know he I know he did the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen to the most disrespectful thing you can do to the military. It's not what I just said, but it's actually to steal Valor, which he did. He pissed on the American flag. He punched a veteran in the face. You know what I mean? So, whatever. I guess Bryan Callen's anti the military. Wow. Didn't know we lost Bryan Callen to the commie left. Sad. Very sad. Very sad stuff.
The other thing that I also know about
the military. It's very sad.
Is that
very,
you're,
I see the switch coming.
You are the closest thing to badasses I've ever met. I mean, in terms of your
This is always it. This is always it, is he wants to fuck a guy. Brian's like, I'll be there in 2 seconds. I want to have sex with you. But the thing he doesn't say at the end of every sentence is, I want to have sex with you. Are we rolling? We ready to roll? I want to have sex with you. His brain always cuts that part off. These guys, if you spent any time around these guys, and just know people like this, they all want to fuck each other. They all want to give each other their fluids and power. They all want to become like a rat king, where they become like a jungle gym of cocks and balls when they all hang out. They love pool, by the way. These guys love to play pool, and I think part of it is kind of bending. It's very sexual. They don't play with women, though. They don't do it to like pick up women or hit on women. They do it. They like leaning over. They like wearing really tight shirts, fanny packs, tight denim jeans. But they're into stuff that dudes like, like t-shirts from Target and rock and roll, trucks, and old classic cars, and Sam Kinison, and smoking. It's literally like if an alien came to Earth and was like, okay, I got to convince people I'm a straight guy. He's like, okay, I'll go to Target. I'll buy a t-shirt with the Black Keys on it. I'll buy the car from Drive. I'll get really into pool and smoking cigarettes. And I'll constantly talk about how I love pussy. And everyone will buy it. Everyone will buy it.
ability to do violence. Anybody who has a question about that is welcome to step on the mat with you. It's not a good time, but I've never seen you not smash everybody. So you're physically, you've got, but nobody's going to deny that. I was a fan of your MMA. But the other thing that when all these things started coming into question, I kept saying to you, Tim, but they know that you're always overseas? Don't they? Because again, let me just say this. I saw
way too many prefaces with Bryan, by the way. Way too many. He's constantly prefacing like a preface. Everything he says, it's like from his diary or some shit.
Because again, let me just say this.
If you constantly need context for what you're talking about, you're just not a good communicator. You're not. Sorry. You're not. Do better. And I know I'm not. You told me I'm not allowed to say much, so I'm not. I'm going to be very general here. But I saw with my own eyes over the years you packing your bags, dude, and putting things like body armor and weird in your bags, and then disappearing and going to places that I probably can't say, but I know you were like, I was like, you're where? I remember FaceTiming you and I was like, what? Where are you? Are you in Texas? And you go, it would take you 60 hours to get where I'm at because the vegetation was so different. And I, by accident, saw some stuff and I was like,
that's some pretty poor OPSEC on my part.
Well,
you're going to get me fired.
I know. Well, no, I just saw the vegetation. But you've always been very general. But the reason I actually know a lot more than you think I know is because I'm also friends
with my boss.
I'm friends with a lot of guys that you know spend a lot of time with. And so now, okay, so there were those things that I saw that I know. I know a lot of stuff. We'll get into the book. We'll get into all the questions that people.
I think it's called the Fort Bragg Cartel. That was the book I was trying to think of. I can't remember the name of the author, but I was gonna interview him. We DM'd back and forth, and then I was gonna interview him in Austin. Then I got really sick. I wasn't able to fly down, unfortunately. Getting sick a lot.
Have. Again, I want to be very respectful, and I'm not a journalist, and I want to treat this with kid gloves, but those were the two things that, for me, I kind of, that anchored me. Yeah. And that's why you're my friend. That's why you'll always be my friend. I just know the real guy, Yeah. I'm not, that's just the way I am, bro. I'm a diehard, I'm a rider. I just am. It's the way I was raised. Maybe it's the Sicilian in me. Yeah. I don't care. I just the way I am.
The most boring thing you can tell people is, your like ancestry. It's a very like It's very like, pedestrian. Like, oh, it's how we do. I'm Sicilian. Shut the fuck up. You're a goy. Shut up. No, I'm Sicilian. No, you're not. You're a hack. Is what you are. It's the hack in you. I'm being too mean. I gotta stop, or you guys are gonna clip this or some shit. I can't keep doing this.
You're my friend. Proud to call you my friend.
I can't keep doing this. This is crazy that they're like, what if I have, it's kind of brilliant by Tim Kennedy actually, be like, what if I have someone on the show who has more allegations than me to start the show? It's brilliant in a way. Good for Bryan. Good for him, man. The people in the chat are like, we already clipped it. We're uploading it right now. Great.
So I wonder if the next thing we should do is address the points of contention.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the things that you were accused of is saying that you said you'd been overseas countless.
Someone please correct me if I'm wrong. He publicly admitted that he stole Valor. That's what I read on Google. Is that the woke liberal media? That's what Google gave me. So, did he not?
Times
Yep.
in a combat capacity.
Yep.
And that was called into question because they looked at your Green Beret record.
My DD 214.
Okay,
from,
whatever that is. Again, guys,
2010.
again, I don't know anything about this military stuff.
Yep.
I'm not going to take on what a tier 1 operator is saying or not saying. I don't want any trouble with Delta Force or any of that stuff. So I'm trying to be as respectful as I can. But the fact of the matter is, you were deployed overseas with various entities.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
Well, I think I'll take in intentionally trying not to be vague and ambiguous, but when I said I'd had dozens of deployments, that is absolutely, totally 100% truthful.
And by the way, there's 0% chance you did anything good on those deployments. What could you have possibly done that was good? Killed bad guys that we created and then sent over there? What did you do? Again, did you guard an opium field? Did you protect a pedophile? What did you do? Honestly, what did you do?
And then you look at DD-214, you're like, dude, this guy's only been to Afghanistan and Iraq with the military. But then, if I'm going with another organization and I'm deployed for 2 months into combat, okay, should I call it a trip? So am I conflating what was trips for nonprofits, for contracting, for other?
You know what this is? It's like this weird psychosis everybody's under where it's like, technically this guy was like in the military or whatever, like to people. And technically this guy is a comedian, but they're both stealing Valor. Like neither is true. You know what I mean? He stole Valor and he doesn't do comedy. Neither is true, but they both are that thing. And it says it on their taxes, I don't really know who this guy is, but I'm sorry, I just don't keep up with that. There's always a guy on Rogan and it's like the fight for the forgotten thing, and they talk about crossbows for 2 hours and like, I mean, could you imagine the guy in his lifted truck leaning forward to turn it up a little bit louder as they start talking about crossbows and being like, fuck yeah. Parting the dip in his mouth to get it to the roof and to the bottom. Be like, hell yeah, this is the shit. I've talked to people where they're like, in Texas, they're like, Rogan? I'm like, yeah, I know him. I'm like, or I knew him or whatever. I don't like know him. I don't think anyone really knows him. But I'm like, yeah, whatever. And they're like, you know why I love Rogan? This is what a guy said to me in Texas. He goes, you know why I like Rogan? Because he's rational. It's just, I wish, like, you look at politics and stuff like that, and, Rogan, he looks at it and he's rational about it. He's the rational one. Actually, that's why he changes his views every 6-7 years. And, latches on to a movement to get bigger exposure, not be left behind. And then when that movement becomes a sort of a laughing stock sort of thing. Then he cuts his chains from the ship of that movement and swims to shore and pretends he was never on the ship. And then he finds the next one. You see, it's not grifting. See, it's not grifting if you're a billionaire. Because then you're just smart. That's what it is. If you're getting the bag, you're smart. If you're grifting, you don't got the bag, you're a dumbass. You know what I mean? You gotta. I remember one time, dude. You remember, like, I remember house party. Like, the only time I saw political fights were, I remember one I saw in college. I think it was a house party of some kind. I don't know. It was when I was younger. And it must have been like 2013, 2012. And we had people at ACU. Like, I was in a like a fraternity there. It was a Christian school, right? But I was in a fraternity and I was just like whatever. And like there was a party where like there was this fat guy. He looked like the extended members of Cartman's family. If you've seen the Thanksgiving Manson episode, he looked like one of them. And there were like 4 black football players that were coming over to the party, and they walked across the lawn, and he was drunk, and people were trying to get him to stop, but he came out with a shotgun, he cocked it, and he said, "If you ain't white, you ain't right." Swear to God, he didn't get expelled. Nothing happened. But every black person and there weren't that many, they all knew who he was, and they all hated him. And we didn't kick him out. They didn't kick him out. I mean, I was in charge of anything. They didn't kick him out. People still saw him. He follows me on Instagram. He DMs me sometimes. But every time I see him, I'm like, wow, you're the really fat, if you ain't white, you ain't right guy. Like, god damn. You were doing like Pappy O'Daniel racism in like 2012. Like, goddamn. But I was at a party like that in West Texas, and there was this there were 2 atheists fighting. So if you can imagine an atheist at a Christian school, yes, you are imagining exactly right. It's the most obnoxious, contrarian, actually like Reddit fedora atheism thing possible. Of like, we're expected to attend chapel, and it's a private Christian school, so you're not allowed to be in a homosexual relationship on campus. Like, none of this stuff is like, but to be like, I'm an atheist and I'm going to this private Christian university, it's like you just want to have a bad time. But I remember there was a Reddit atheist guy, and he was talking about how much he hates George Bush and how bad George Bush was for America, and he was a horrible president. And at that time, people, especially though ain't right, those people hated Obama, and they would say like, we got to keep the White House white. They'd say shit like that. Like, a lot of them would say it in jest, but a lot of them did believe it. Like, the ain't white, ain't right guy totally believed it. Okay. So like sometimes people would fight about presidents just because of Obama or whatever. And one guy, I remember him being like, fuck George Bush, like he got us in a war, all this shit. The Reddit, this guy said that. And then this other like hick guy, I remember him going like, "You hate George Bush," and the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm an atheist at a Christian university. Of course, I hate George Bush. It's 2012." And the guy was like, "Why do you hate George?" The guy was like, "Why do you hate George Bush?" And the atheist guy was like, "Because he's a fucking dumbass." And he goes, "I know George Bush is not a dumbass." And the Reddit atheist guy was like, "How?" And he goes, "Because he's the president. How could he be the president and be a dumbass?" I never forgot that line of being like, well, if someone's the boss, then how could they be an idiot? Sort of thing. And obviously I kind of like in a larger context, I kind of understand like as like a somewhat of a smaller point in terms of being able to, it's just funny because a lot of people have this mentality of like, well, he's the boss. So if you're the boss, then you're the best. And that means you're you got like 180 IQ and you deserve $1 billion and I should be a slug forever. I should be a slug on a leash. Oh, me, I'm a worm on a leash that my boss walks around, spits on, shits on. Uses my little worm body to wipe his ass after he takes a big shit on me. Yep, the Christian's right in this scenario. You can't get to a position of power unless you're actually a genius. You have to be really smart. Yep, that's all it takes. As we know, every boss at every company is a genius. That's how everything's a meritocracy. Actually, the smartest people are at the top, and the dumbest people are at the bottom. And if they were smarter, they'd be at the top. Actually, that's right. That's how everything's a meritocracy. Everything is smartest are up there with all the money. Not a dumb little old me down here. I ain't never know nothing. Just like how the state planned for me to know nothing because they destroyed academia so voters can't be informed and then they can just rape the whole earth. Amen. Amen. Jesus Christ, in Jesus Christ's name, thank you for raping the earth. President, all the presidents of the earth. Amen. Anyway, gives a shit. Gives a fuck. I did find, by the way, so I love Lee Trevino. I found out at Preston Hollow, Lee Trevino plays with George Bush like 4 times a week. You know they're saying it. Lee Trevino plays. I've been listening to Lee Trevino interviews because I love Lee Trevino. And he says he plays with George Bush 3 times a week at Preston Hollow. I was like, holy shit. That's where Scotty's a member too, I'm pretty sure. Or Shady, whatever. But I think it's in Preston Hollow. Whatever. If you're a rich Dallas guy, you know. I can't memorize all the suburbs. I memorize all the ones that are Indian now. But I know I'm going to heaven when I die. It ain't getting no better for little old. Yeah, Jelly Roll's a genius. That's why he sells so many tickets. Remember, it's a big triangle. The smartest people are up here, and the dumbest people are way down here. And as you go down the ladder, it's an IQ thing. It's like all the 180 to 200, like the rare IQs are at the very top. In fact, it all correlates. They've done studies that all correlates. The people at the very, very, very top all have the absolute highest IQs in the entire world. Way at the top, and then it fractionally goes down all the way until all the way down here at 0. Actually, zero might be true. 0 might be at the bottom. I don't know. Well, actually, they get money from the state, so they're probably doing better than a lot of people with like 180 IQ. But like an Amadeus guy. How many homeless people are walking around with like orchestrating music in their head? Probably none, actually. Sometimes I think that I'm like, you see a homeless guy, and there's that like trope of like, oh, the homeless guy. Like, what if he is like a physics Nobel? And I'm like, and then I see him like, shit into his hand and throw it at a wall, and I'm like, oh well. And I'll see a woman, I'll be like, what's the chances that this woman, like, maybe she was like a higher up at, because we're trying to have empathy on, I'm like, maybe she was like a higher up at like NASA or something before they disbanded. Maybe she has like some PhD in like astrophysics or something. And then I see her pick up a dog turd and turn it into a crack pipe, put a little hole in it with a hanger and start smoking crack. And I'm like, oh, well, smoking crack out of a dog turd. Oh, uh-oh. Glasses broke. Let's see if I can fix them. Do you want to see my eyes? Do you want to see my eyes? You want to see my beautiful hair? Do you guys want me to wear my hat like this? This, by the way, the sign of someone who's truly like deeply dumb, is they say stuff that rhymes. And they think it's true because it rhymes. Literally, like, if you ain't white, you ain't right. So people will be like, silence is violence. And they think that's also, it's just anything that rhymes, they're like, yep, there it is. There it is, because of the sounds, and the. Anyway.
My chain. My chain. My chain. My chain. Don't you like my chain?